those who've been watching our videos and listening to our podcast. Thank you so much for your support. I hope we enjoy this one today. It's a Valentine special all for you guys. Hope you enjoy. So our first question today is, our first discussion is, what do, it talks about what the secret for capturing women as we delve into the depths of what women really want in a man. So I'm going to start with Vicky to tell us what a woman wants in a man.
To be honest, I think really there's no one size fits all approach. I think everyone is different, and what individuals require from relationships or from either it's a man or a woman is very different. But I think that the basic things that I would consider would be good communication, respect, attention, affection, understanding, and overall support of your dreams and all the other things that you want to do. Having somebody who is present for you, who is supportive of you, who listens to you, who wants to grow with you, and somebody who is generally just a good presence in your life, somebody who has a good vibe.
Wow, that's amazing. I hope we all heard what Vicky is saying. Yeah, and of course, similar things that I've listed down anyway. For me, I think women want a man who shows love. It's easy for men to say, I like you, I love you, but we look for the signs. It's very important that we see your actions. That's why they say actions speak louder than words. Your actions will mean a lot than just words. Words can be just promises and all that. And then the respect is very important, to feel respected by your man, even around people, that it shows respect, that he values you. And get good communication for me is very important, because without communication, that's when you start thinking negatively. So I would like my man to be available for me, even if he's busy. I would like him to let me know that I'm busy for now, rather than me second guessing that what could he be doing, and then I start being suspicious. So we appreciate a man who communicates well, and then show that I'm priority as well. It's nice to show that your man makes you feel important in his life, rather than you're just like squeezing yourself in his life. And then support, like Vicky says, support is very important for a man to just cheer you up in everything that you're doing and give you support, and maybe even if constructive criticism as well in anything that you're doing, as long as they show support. Hardworking, it's nice to have a man who's hardworking. He might not have money, the money that you want, or maybe a lot, but as long as he's trying, he's hardworking, we really appreciate that as women. A man who's generous, like I'm sure every woman, most women nowadays have got their own monies, but we like men who are generous. It's just like one of those things since like the past years that women always expect a man. Not that should be one-sided, don't get me wrong. And then responsible, just a man who's responsible, shows sign that they're responsible in everything that they do. They know, they prioritize the important things. Reliable, trustworthy, and transparent to you. I know it sounds like a lot, but it makes life easier when someone who's reliable and trustworthy, and you are transparent in all your movements, and then tidiness, cleanliness. Some women complain about men who are not tidy, who are not clean. We like our men to look good and be tidy. I would like to feel spoiled as well. Like I said before, I think it's under generous. It's part of being spoiled by a man. So yeah, that's my point for now. And then so we're gonna move to our next discussion. I'll leave Vicky again to say it. It's called Unlocking the Mystery. What exactly do men look for in a woman? Let's uncover the qualities that makes hearts flutter. So we're gonna leave Vicky to tell us your point of views. We're not experts, remember. We're just trying to help each other here. Yeah.
Thank you, Faye. And I think your previous points were very profound. And I think that I left out that whole financial security. I think really depending on the culture, I think African culture really places emphasis on men being the provider. So even if a woman is making her own money, I think that there's just something that comes with somebody who is working hard, who is willing to provide, who's doing their best. And so that's something that I wanted to point out. And when it comes to men, I think what men look for in relationships, again, like Faye said, we're not experts. I think men mostly want respect, I think that's a very big thing that men look for. They don't want to feel emasculated in relationships, but they want to be respected. They want to feel listened to. They want to feel that the person that they are with is really proud of who they are and proud of what they are doing. And also, I think that one of the things that happens less often in relationships with men is that they don't experience the gratitude. I think being able to express how grateful you are for the things that your partner is doing for you, I think that's a big thing. Being able to recognize the efforts that somebody's putting, being able to also support and cheer on your partner, being able to observe and pay attention to who they are. Sometimes, men struggle to communicate, and sometimes when they're struggling, they're not able to be transparent and honest about their vulnerabilities. But being somebody who pays close attention to your partner, and you can be able to observe when there's a shift in their behavior, when there's a shift in their attitude, then you can be able to see that something is probably wrong or something is going on with them. Somebody who is prayerful, if you are a Christian, I think that men want somebody who is able to support them spiritually, financially as well, somebody who is not going to say, I'm individualistic, I'm making my own money, and so I'm not going to contribute, but being a contributing member of the family, being able to share responsibility with your partner. I think those are some of the things that I could say. And also, again, affection. I think men also want to feel loved. They want to experience that show of affection. So if you love him, tell him, show him in many different ways. And also when you're around people, don't embarrass each other. Don't embarrass or ridicule or belittle your spouse. Being able to make sure that that also can contribute to how he is able to handle and carry himself. So being that person who's always cheering him on and supporting him and encouraging him and supporting him if he has dreams or things that he's trying to pursue, just being that person who's ever present and supportive.
Wow, those are, I like how you laid out the points. You basically said it all, and that's exactly how men are feeling nowadays. That's what they've been telling me, because I wanted to get a man into this our podcast, but he was busy. So I started asking different men about what they want, and they gave me some points. And I think it's along those lines of the stuff that you said. And respect is number one. I think men need to be respected. And I think I'm taking back to what you said last time about globalization. It has changed a lot of people on how they treat men nowadays. Is because women, they've learned to be independent, they've got their own money. So in that process, sometimes women, they tend to be overpowering men in a way, some of the women. So like, let's maintain that respect and give men the respect, because when you give them that respect, then at least they can feel like a man, more masculine. So it's very, very important for a man to feel like a man in a relationship. So we should try to always do our part as women. Even if you got money, you have to humble yourself, like in a relationship for it to work. Because the moment you start to overpower that man and you don't respect him, then that means they can't be themselves again. So it's very, very important. So Vicky said some great points, to be honest, and that's what exactly men ask. They say they want trust, women who trust them as well, who give them emotional support, like what you said, in everything that they do. I feel like sometimes men going through a lot, especially in their careers. Sometimes they go through a lot of stress trying to make money or to provide for families. So they need our support always, to make sure we are there for them, to make it easier, to take away some of this stress that come with with their work. And yeah, so don't expect to just be loved all the time and you're not giving love to your men. I think it's both ways, like what Vicky said. Sometimes as women, we tend to be selfish. We want the men to do everything for us, spoil us all the time, but do you ever spoil them as well? So it's something to think about. And then like intimacy, they said they want intimacy, emotional support and physical connection with you. Are you that cold woman when your man is trying to touch you? You are so cold. So they want you to be like, take it easy, with them, allow them to connect with you. Yeah, and they want independence. They want women who are independent, who don't, or what to call, um, demand from them too much, suck the life out of them, have your own thing going on so that you don't put pressure on your man and be watching out for his income too much, even if it's a boyfriend. There's some women who think they have a right, like, so let's just take it easy, women. Yeah, and then shared responsibility, I think is similar to that. They want help, they don't want you to rely on them fully. And yeah, someone said fun and companionship. They want women who are fun, like to be with. Some women that are so timid, like, just be free around people. Even if it takes you out, just be free around people so that at least it doesn't feel out of place or feel embarrassed taking you to places because you're not free, you don't mix with people, you're not friendly. So yeah, those are some of the things that they said. But for me, some that stand out is respect always, respect and good communication as well. Because some women, they're not good at communicating as well. The man is trying to talk to you, you are moody, you are like this. So communication is very important, ladies. So it takes two to tango anyway. So if you expect a good man, be a good woman yourself. Don't put pressure on men, especially this Valentine. Don't just say it's always me, 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 me. You do something for your man as well to make him feel good, make him feel loved. It's not just one-sided. So our next discussion is about why is it crucial for individuals to articulate their desires in a relationship. Join us as we explore the importance of clear communication and fostering healthy connections. So I'm going to give it to Vicky again to say her own point of view about stuff.
I think again, like with anything else, nobody's going to ever be able to understand the things that you don't say. So I think there's a saying that says closed mouth don't get fed. I think the ability to communicate and the ability to articulate your desires and your needs helps your partner be able to understand, okay, this is Faye, and this is how she understands love. This is how she receives love. This is how she feels, and these are some of the things that she is concerned about. Because half the time, I think a lot of things get lost in translation, right? I want my partner to do this for me or to behave this way, but you have not communicated that. Maybe you're just acting out as you were saying, sometimes you're just moody because you're upset about something. But then when you have not communicated that this is what's going on with me, whether it's something that happened at work, whether it's something that's personal, whether it's something that you're frustrated about that your partner has done, learn to be somebody who's very transparent and honest and open in communication, and everything should be done in a respectful and open way. So if there are things that are going on with you, be able to be somebody and say A, B, C, D. And sometimes you may not agree on things, and sometimes they may not, there's certain times over something that has happened, and somebody is so oblivious to it because they don't know that they've hurt you or they've upset you, because then you experience things differently and you feel things differently. So I think that it's very important for people to know you and for people to understand you and for people to engage with you the right way. But that can only happen if you are articulating yourself and communicating your needs and your wants to your partner.
Wow, amazing. You've said it all. Yes, it's important. Communication, I think, is one of the most important things in a relationship from the word go. Say what you want in a man, tell him what you want. And then with time, they'll understand and they'll get to know you. But don't expect, like what Vicky said, for him to guess that, she's not happy, something happened. How is she going to guess? Just by your first reactions, So you need to communicate and be open, even if there's something that annoyed you somewhere, tell him so that he knows that, oh, that's why you're behaving this way, not for him to guess. So it's very, very important on both sides as well. I think men need to communicate as well. Sometimes, like Vicky said, something about men, sometimes they could be under pressure, but to let you know, they don't want to feel like they're weak as men or speak out. They don't want to be seen as weak. But then again, it makes it hard for us as women to support you if you're not being open with us. So I think openness is very important in a relationship, so that at least the other person, you make it easier for them to love you and be there for you. Don't be closed off. So without communication, it ruins a lot of things, because there starts to be suspicions, because that person has to now guess what could be wrong. Is there something wrong? Is he doing something behind my back? So which is not good. That causes problems. So I think for me, communication stand out more than other things in this situation. And then also, time as well is a factor in this one, because when you communicate as well and then you show those things, then another thing is, because most of us assume good, women want this, but your woman is different. So with communication and with time, you know exactly like what Vicky said, good, your woman likes this kind of thing, your man like this kind of thing. So that means you're gonna give him the love that he wants, not what you think he wants. So yeah, and time as well. So time and communication for me, they play a role in this point. And then we're gonna move on to our next one. It says, have you noticed a shift expectations over time? Share your experiences or insights on how relationship dynamics evolve over time. So I'm gonna give it to you again, Vicky. Mhm.
Um, I
Mm.
think like with anything, I think there's this saying, change is the only constant variable. I think if I get it right, because people are always changing, people are always evolving, environments are changing, situations are changing.
Mhm.
Je ne sais, everything about us is always shifting. So even if we are in a relationship, right, the fact that you're in a relationship with a person who is an individual who is revolving every
Mhm.
day, it means that things are going to change. How you feel about somebody is going to change. How
Mhm.
you experience them is going to change. Where you are in terms of as an individual and as a unit is going to change.
Mhm.
So being able to understand and I always say to people who are in relationships, remember that being in a relationship with somebody or being in love with somebody is a choice and a decision that you make. Just because today I was in love with Faye, it does not mean
Mhm.
that tomorrow I'm going to be in love with Faye, because the person
Mhm.
that Faye is today, that I'm saying
Mhm.
I'm in love with, is not the person that she's going to be tomorrow, right?
Mhm.
Somebody's going to change weight, their is going to change their profession, their financial status. So many
Mhm.
aspects of their lives are going to change.
Mhm.
So again, I think the underlying factor is that things are always going to change, and in every relationship you will always see a certain shift. So being able to prepare yourself mentally and physically for those changes, and being able, I think communication, it all boils down to communication. Being able to communicate each and every step of the
Mhm.
way. These are the changes that are happening to me as
Mhm.
you observe them, as you experience them.
Mhm.
Being in a relationship where you guys are able to sit down and talk about, okay, these are some of the things that are coming up for me. I'm not feeling like I'm in love with you as I was before, and
Mhm.
then exploring those things. And if you need to go to therapy, and being able to unpack those things and understanding what's happening with you, why are you feeling this
Mhm.
way, why are you behaving this
Mhm.
way, because again the reality is that people are going to change and things are going to change. So
Mhm.
being able to be open to those changes and being able to communicate throughout those different stages
Wow.
of the change process.
Mhm. Wow, well said, Vicky. And as we were talking, a lot of things came into my mind. I played a lot of scenarios in my head that even when you meet sometimes, like as a couple, maybe at that time you find a guy who's very rich and he spoils you a lot. You know, he gives you everything that you've ever asked for. Boom. Let's say you get married to that guy. Along the line, things go bad. Maybe he no longer has that money that he used to have. He used to spoil you. So what are you going to do? So we have to
Mm-hmm.
be to know that life changes.
Mm-hmm.
Zoning kwakawana at that time might change. So what are you going to do? That's why
Mm-hmm.
there's a list of things. What is love? Love is passion, love, understanding through thick and thin, all those kind of things. So are you going to leave him because now he doesn't have money and you forget about all the good stuff that is done for you? So all those things, and also for men to understand as well that when you marry a woman, she could have been jovial and all that. At the time you have kids, things start to change.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of women experiencing postnatal depression. And in our culture as Black Africans, sometimes it's not really recognized. Vanhu vanenge vachingoti maybe akaneta, semunaita mwana,
Mm-hmm.
this and that. But sometimes you start noticing a change in your woman, kuti indavachinja since aita vana. Bodies change, we go through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes maybe wanga wagara uri musikana uri slim and you didn't expect that your body will just balloon like that and
Mm-hmm.
change. So people have to know that as women our bodies change over time. Some men vanokwanisa kucriticize mukadzi wake kuti hey wasimba, hey go and find another woman outside. So I just want to say that those kind of things they crush women's heart. Kuti you're supposed to be there for amwe havana achazvarira iwe wakutaura kudaro. So we have to know all those things that happen, changes, or even sometimes men gain weight as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wanna refresh, and then the next thing, chitumbu. You start thinking like, oh, I like my six pack. So what are you going to do? Maybe you can tell him to go to the gym. so that maybe no booster all my feelings anenge akuenda maybe at that time rudo runochinja because shape yangu akaona kutanga yemukadzi yachinja. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to look outside or you try kuti to encourage healthy eating and exercise? But you have to say it in a nice way kuti mukadzi asafeel a certain way. We have to be careful not to hurt each other along the way. Yeah, so yeah, what was there before, or my priorities change as well, or so along the lines things happen, people face a lot of and you remember, like next time we're talking about mental health, this comes in as well. Sometimes it causes problems, causing a lot of problems, and in our culture sometimes we don't understand. We try to dismiss that side about mental health. So on our next podcast, we're going to talk deeper about mental health. So this can come into the relationship as well. Are you going to be patient enough when you see kuti munhu wako is acting a bit offish? Are you going to be supportive and all the kind of things? So yeah, we're gonna go deeper when we talk about mental health as well, because it plays a role in this kind of issue. So we're gonna move on to the next point. It says, let's talk solutions. What strategies can we employ to nurture and revitalize relationships amid challenges? So this point is very important because we know that relationships are not going to be perfect all the time. So what we want to try to encourage as couples, kuti nowadays we're talking about it, Vicky, last week, about how people are quick to just like quit. No one wants to work it out like before in the olden days, whereby so we want to try to bring that in nowadays, to solve relationship. Let's not be quick to give up. If there's still hope, let's try to work it out. So what are some ways to save relationships? So I'm gonna leave it to Vicky to say her own point of view about this kind of this issue.
Excuse me. Sorry. I think my strategies honestly, and there's no one size fits all approach that works in terms of strategy. I think it's being able to understand who you are as a couple or who you are in your relationship and what works for you, because what works for couple A is not necessarily going to work for couple B. Some people can consider therapy because then they, that's something that works for them. They need some sort of intervention or somebody who's listening into the conversation who's more like a neutral party. And then some people can prefer kuenda kunehama kana kunehama you're close to, if you have a relative, an auntie or an uncle or a sister, that's somebody who is a voice of reason and somebody who is respectable and somebody who also has a relationship that's working. I think I don't want to not emphasize that, because sometimes we go kunotaga advice to people who are also just not really good at relationships or who are just struggling in relationships. Not that they can't provide you with advice, but I think sometimes if you're in a crisis, you want to go to people who are doing well so that they can give you ideas about how to navigate your own challenges. And again, I think the most important thing, the holy grail of relationships, is, we were saying that, communication. Make sure that you're building your relationships on the strong foundation of good communication. Know each other well enough to be able to be friends first, so that if anything comes up for you, you guys have a very solid way of communicating and talking through things and talking about everything and anything. Because there's nothing quite trivial and minor and unimportant in a relationship. You should be able to talk about everything, whether it's weight issues, whether it's harma issues, whether you feel like your partner is skewed towards his relatives or your relatives, whether it's personal things that are coming up for you or for him. I think that the holy grail of any kind of relationship should be communication. Have a good foundation, your communication, you're open, respectful, and transparent. I think to me, basically, the strategy would be, or the ideas that you could use, find other people who can help you be able to talk amidst yourself first before you introduce a third party into the relationship. Only introduce a third party if you guys between yourselves are not able to resolve things. But communicate, and respect one another. I think when a relationship is respect, you are able to at least find better ways to relate or address my issues in you. So respect each other, love each other, and always see your partner as you see yourself, and treat them as how you want to be treated. So always be mindful of the other person and see them as you see yourself.
Yes, yes. Oh, Vicky, wow. You said it well, Vicky is amazing. And yeah, and when you're talking, I start to think about a lot of things, a lot of scenarios come, and I'm hoping that I won't forget. You said something about communication. For me, if you realize in all our points, communication is number one. Why? Because you have to communicate your needs. When things are wrong, tell your other
Mm-hmm.
person how you feel exactly, and then them as well, they have to speak out as well exactly how you feel so that you're able to solve it. But if you don't talk, that's when munofungirana zvakaipa, and kufungirana zvakaipa is another major destroyer of relationships, because already you are thinking, this acting like this because he's doing something behind my back, because of lack
Mm-hmm.
of communication kuti muzipe time yasotaura. And in our culture, sometimes when men have got stress or they're not happy about something, they don't communicate. So it's so important. They're thinking, good, if I tell her this, maybe she might respond the wrong way. So let me not tell her. And don't be that person who can't speak to your partner, but you are able to go and tell your friends about what she's doing. Kuti mukadzi wangu haasi kunyatsogeza or haapfeki zvinondifadza kana chii. Talk to your woman and tell him, or buy her the dresses that you wanted to wear. Don't be that man anoenda anotaura nezvomukadzi wako kunze. Or a woman as well, a married woman, who rather, instead of talking to the man and then goes and tell my girlfriends, kuti, my husband is like this, you know what I mean? So let's respect your person, waona. And you said something about, if you can't solve with the two of you, look for people who can trust. Let's say if you people go to church, there's elders in church who you can talk to, who won't pass your secret to other people. Also, those are to other people, good, vaya vanonetsana, vaya this and that, you know what I mean? So you have to be
Mm-hmm.
careful who you approach as well. And there's some people as well, especially if you are married, you have to know the right circle to mix with. Because if
Mm-hmm.
I'm a married woman and then I go and ask for advice on my friends are very single who are just enjoying their independence, they will say that, why do you have to suffer? Like, what is marriage nowadays? Like, you have to be happy. Leave this marriage, leave this marriage. But do you want to leave that marriage? So don't be influenced and know where to get your help from. Don't go to people that will influence you to leave your marriage when it can still be worked out. Because me,
Mm-hmm.
what I believe is the only time I would give up, like from experience, like is when there's violence.
Mm-hmm.
Or murumacho, they are stubborn, they don't want to make it work. Or even if it's a man, if you've tried everything and the woman is still stubborn, then at least you have a reason. Good, I've tried everything. If
Mm-hmm.
you know that you've tried, and maybe you've tried as well, space as well is another option. Some people
Mm-hmm.
use space kuti at least munomboenda somewhere for a while and to think things over, that helps as well to save relationships. Or sometimes if they want therapy as well, it's another option, like what Vicky said. But in our culture, sometimes people tend to struggle to get that like professional help. We
Mm-hmm.
feel as if, oh no, like they pull that away. So find a way that works for you, like what Vicky said, that it's not the same for everyone. Find a way that works for you, and your partner good, if I do this, you will listen. If I talk to his brother, you will
Mm-hmm.
listen. As a woman, try not to like ask your own family to talk to your man, because he might feel disrespected. So it's better you
Mm-hmm.
look for his own side, like maybe his uncles or whoever is close to him, that that if I speak to this person, they will listen, and it's done in a respectful way. And then as a man as well, if you know good, maybe you've tried talking to a woman, she's not understanding, find her sister or someone that good, this one is supportive of relationship, and talk to them, to speak to your wife, so that maybe they can see your point of view in another
Mm-hmm.
person's eye, like, so it helps. Rather than giving up, let's try to make it work, especially when there's children involved. It's not worth it to go to every legal argument. Oh, I've got my own money, I'm leaving. I mean, unless, like I said, there's violence, then at least, yeah, you've got a good reason. But try to make it work. And as Arambisisa, then yes, now good, I know I've tried everything. Even when you go, you're at peace knowing that you really tried everything. So that even when the other person moves on, you're not gonna come back and be jealous again. Good, I wish I had not done this. You know what I mean? So in
Mm-hmm.
everything that you do, find peace. That's all I can say. And then our last one is, from Glenn, what are the ways to show, like gestures to show your other half, Kuti, I love you? As you know that Valentine is coming, all those kind of events. You know, they are really good in as a way to show sometimes. It's not just Valentine. I mean, like you have to show love at all times, but we use those kind of times to show, you know, like how we value the other person, how we can go out of our way, the way we're thoughtful about them, what we can do for them. So what can you say about that, Vicky? Mm,
Before the tower, I think let's
mm,
just also don't put pressure on yourself. Every
mhm,
day,
mhm,
I think in a relationship, when you're in a good
mm,
space, every day you're showing your partner that you care about them
mhm,
and that you love them. So
mhm,
Valentine should not be a day where somebody starts to get anxieties that, oh my God, what am I going to do? Or
mhm,
I need something. If
mhm,
you guys have been running your relationship the right way,
mhm,
but I think just being intentional and being purposeful and thoughtful about my gestures are cool.
mhm,
It can be as simple as, identifying something that my partner needs or desires, or they've been an area they've been struggling with, and providing them with support. It can be cooking for them. It can also just be blocking a day and saying, I'm not going to do anything relationship. I'm going to focus on my person and quality time with them. Just kunzima phone elu, just
mhm.
being in a quiet space
Concentrate.
where you're
Mhm,
enjoying each other's company.
mhm.
I think
Mhm.
everything should just be thoughtful and purposeful, just really being mindful and thoughtful and purposeful, observing and paying attention to your person and doing things that shinobata moyo yabo. So just really, I think I think and a
Mhm.
specific thing to do, because every partner is different and
It's
every relationship
different,
is
yeah.
different. But observe your person, know what they desire, know what would move them, and know what would be important to them and what they would appreciate the most, and do that for them.
Yes, yes. Oh, Vicky, I like that. And you guys, I hope you notice that when we're talking, we're not putting pressure on men. We always try to balance these facts, you know, on both sides, because we value our men as well. We don't want to feel like, oh, this women empowerment thing, this and that, you know. So, like what Vicky said, a good point about being content and appreciate what your person has been doing for you. It's not just about Valentine. You know, there's a lot of gestures that people show, you know, at all times, you know, just appreciate the little things that someone does for you. And it's important, like Vicky said, this Valentine can come and Monaco maybe is going through a tough time. Maybe financially they're not stable. And you are
Mm-hmm.
thinking, oh, my friends are getting flowers, all that. And you start getting stressed, or you start to stress your man. But hey, you didn't get me this and that. Let's not be like that, ladies. As long as you know that the person has been trying, so don't put pressure on them. Just appreciate the little that they're doing. Things are different. You might not be able to do it today, but next year you might be stable to do it, to do a big thing for you. So I think being supportive always and understanding, be understanding. Let's not be too materialistic, you know, and like put pressure on people. And that's what I talk about in my other book about kuti. Let's not be people who like who want to just always receive, you know. What are you giving as well as a woman to that man? And another thing is what I advise people is tsvaga munhu weclass yako in a way, because don't be a man who gonna want to look for a woman who anoda a gold digger. Mukadzi anongoda mari. When you don't have money, you're not together, like they don't want you. So find your match. Tsvaga munhu anounderstanda zvauri, kwete kutsvaka mukadzi ausingakwanisi kuafforda, because they're so beautiful, they're so expensive, and you end up stealing kuti umuplease mukadzi. It's not good. You know, find your match, class yako. And even if you're a woman as well, don't be pressured as well. But yeah, you know, I'm with someone like that, and you end up doing illegal things just to impress that person. It's wrong, wrong, wrong. So yeah, let's just for me, I think, yeah, just is the thought that counts. Like Vicky said, there's something about cooking. If you're a married couple, sometimes we get tired as women. If let's say you've been cooking more, whenever you're tired, let your men be cooking for you, give you a break sometime, even with the house chores, and say, baby, I want to put your feet up and rest today. It's my turn, I'll cook for you. All those kind of things. Here and there, it's nice to receive flowers or gifts by surprise without asking for them. We don't have to always ask for the gifts. We want to be surprised. Cuddles are very important as well, because couples sometimes, as years go by, cuddles become less. As women, for me, I think we love our cuddles. Yeah, maybe I'm speaking for many women. Complimented. I like to be complimented. Let me dress up, and my man is the first one to tell me whether I look beautiful. Not that like you have to feel it yourself, like self-love. I always advise on self-love. Love yourself first, but it's also nice for your men to compliment you that, oh, baby, you look good. I like that dress. Or it's very important because what you don't realize that the moment I step out or the moment I post my picture, other men will compliment your woman for you. So it's not good. A woman wants to hear that compliment for the one from the one that is with first, that one that she's with first. So it's the same for women as well. Learn to compliment your men as well. If he's looking hot, tell them that you're looking hot. It's not taboo to compliment your boyfriend that they look good. For me, I think those things are important. We like to not just rappers, don't go die, it's okay. But it's nice to always make someone feel good, especially kanari mwako, they like to hear from you. Not good what does is looking good. Other women in the office, they're telling you looking hot, James. You know what I mean? So let you be the one first. I don't that you're hot, you look nice. I like that hairstyle. I like how you do things. We have to be our biggest supporters. Everyone, but not now, you know. This is my biggest cheerleaders. Everyone, what not now. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you want to say on that, Vicky, before we.
No, I think we've exhausted everything. And again, we are
Mm,
not experts. Mention with
mm,
our thoughts and our
yeah.
ideas. If you feel like you want to come and join us and talk with us and
Yes.
have some ideas, please feel free to reach out. And
Mm.
also, I think the last thing that I can say, don't be influenced on social media because you will see so many things that are
Oh my
happening
God. Yeah.
to other people on social media.
Yes.
Especially this guy, I
Yeah.
noticed what's his thing? This guy
Oh,
Denison.
this guy, beep, the guy who reads the
Everyone is,
saxophone, yes.
yeah,
Yeah, when
don't
people are proposing and birthdays and all that, yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
It's okay if it's not happening for you and if your person can't afford it.
Yes.
Salamona, I know that I'm on social media that what's happening for other people is what I want to happen for me. Sometimes
Yes.
kuona
Yes.
kunusiana my
Yes.
relationship
Yes.
and my situation anosiana.
Yeah.
Live your life and stay in your lane. So
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's a very good point because me, I believe Kuti, sometimes it's nice that you don't have to push someone to do what you want. I think it's nice, Kuti, let's leave people to be thoughtful. As long as they know, Kuti, Vicky likes this, Faith like this, let them try to think in their own way. Kuti, what can I do for my woman? What can I do for my man? But wakutanga kuti, ndaona social media, pane mukomana anoimba nesaxophone, I want the same. You know what I mean? Let it come from them because the moment you start asking for it, even if he does it, but because you ask for it, it doesn't feel the same, you know what I mean? So you're right, Vic, about pressure, and we see a lot of cars with ribbons, and she cut a ribbon for their new cars. Be careful, be careful. Sometimes it's just an act. People can borrow cars, or they can go they've got a friend who works in a car garage, and they can just like film. I heard a story sometime in social media, a girl who did that, who lied